Hello, how are you? Good, good. As you know, my mission is to review the entire universe, which is simple enough, but only if everything stays the same. I could rate this freshly scooped sea sludge a 9 out of 10 this morning, but what about tonight when the moonlight releases the dark forces inside the sea sludge? I'd have to knock a star off for the inconvenience alone. Things change, and that's why I'm going to take a look through my first 50 reviews and see if they need reassessing.
45 toilet rolls.
I never did find out who sent me the 45 toilet rolls. I don't even have a suspect. So it was either the perfect crime or a mistake that left someone who needed 45 toilet rolls with nothing more than their bare hands and a splash of white vinegar to keep themselves clean. If they were for me, I applaud the sender for never letting the truth slip out. Although maybe that's like saying fair play to the Zodiac Killer for not being a glory hog.
The Beast from the East.
I'm glad anyone who's already thinking, is this just going to be Owen talking over his old videos, is now forced to remember a time when the Infinite Review was 5 minutes of me talking about toilet paper or snow. Anyway, the Beast returned to the East with a souvenir tin of Highland toffee and hasn't been back since. Don't take it personally, Glasgow.
All the Star Trek movies.
I can't believe the title of this one is still accurate. We've had almost a decade of Trek films being in development, but the only one that seems to actually exist is the Section 31 event film, which isn't a film. Hey guys, check out my event film. You mean your film that doesn't stand a chance of being released in cinemas? No, my event film. Grow up. Whatever they call it, just hope that it doesn't lead to them greenlighting the Picard film. At least people have finally stopped pretending that Tarantino's Star Trek film was ever gonna happen. Not that we'll ever see an end to the clickbait articles about it. Guys, he's too busy!
The Demon Core.
As far as I know, the Demon Core hasn't killed anyone since my video, so its rating hasn't budged. But in that time, it did become a meme, thanks to some anime girls. So, here you go, Raretro, the VTuber of the future, and the Demon Core. Remember VTubers? The Infinite Review guarantee is that I will always ride the zeitgeist too early and too late.
Dingle.
The actual thing that made Dingle famous was a dolphin named Fungi, which I completely failed to mention in the video. We didn't even try to see Fungi, and he's died since then, so we missed our chance. Without Fungi bringing in tourists, Dingle now looks like this. But if you Google Fungi, Google will still tell you he's open. Wikipedia is a little more pragmatic, quoting an expert who says, if you spot Fungi out in the water, you haven't. He's dead. He's gone. He's dead. On a more positive note, the toilet seat Richie broke was successfully replaced. Swings and roundabouts, huh? IKEA seems to be doing alright despite raising its prices during the bad times. But what are you gonna do? Where else can you get tables and pickle water? They've also started selling Havmac, but they've stopped offering Guinness in the breakfast area, so I'm away for a pint in Bargain Town.
Start cereal.
As you recall, Start cereal was replaced with the inferior Cars 3 cereal, but that seems to have disappeared too now, which means there's no longer any proof that Start existed, unless you use the Wayback Machine, which lets you also see the ghosts of Honey Loops and Ricicles. Ugh. But hey ho, at least we've got salted caramel crunchy nut.
Cookery in color.
I'm delighted to see that these videos have been added to Marguerite Patton's actual Wikipedia page. What a legacy. Yes, me and Sean pretending to dislike aspic really paid off. Oh yeah, that was all for the camera. The truth is, it was delicious. And now neither of us can eat anything unless it's encased in jelly.
The Hellfire Club.
It's still up there, casting its evil gaze over Dublin, but the planned cable car system hasn't materialised yet. Undeniable proof that it was a bad plan from the get-go, or that Satan is real and personally blocking Dublin City Council members from completing the paperwork? It would be childish to pretend it isn't the latter.
Japan and Sonic Curry.
The boy who spat in the shrine water was released from prison, but immediately reoffended by walking and eating at the same time. I don't think we're gonna see him again. Sonic Curry seems to be off the market, so we were lucky to taste it when we did. I was kindly gifted a Resident Evil curry that I was hoping to enjoy with Richie, but it's a fair bit past its sell-by date now. Have the biohazard green herb curry and survive, the box says optimistically. Could I sue for false advertising when it kills me? And Richie still hasn't watched Ants.
Baylor's Kids.
Since AI-generated movies are winning hearts and minds everywhere with zero pushback, I think it might be time for Valor's Kids 2. Computer, make Valor's Kids 2. God, there's no better feeling than standing at the precipice of a new cultural epoch.
Tarot.
Back when I made this one, tarot was considered a joke. But after we did such a good job of showing the world that tarot is real and important and cool, it started to get popular again. Kids were tearing up their Yu-Gi-Oh decks, which in some cases took ages. They've even made a film about tarot that anyone can watch right now. I'm delighted by all this, of course, but the only downside is now that everyone does tarot, everyone knows what's going to happen to them. Gone are the days where you'd wonder what your weekend would be like. Now you already know by Tuesday that you'll be alone on Saturday night again. Oh well, at least you can catch up on all that unmissable television.
The Attic.
I can't claim The Attic has seen any major updates since you last saw it. I still haven't thrown away those school books full of mold and System of a Down lyrics. But The Attic will be rated for a future video. Who can resist a hook like that? You? Please keep watching the Infinite Review. There's good stuff coming. There actually is.
All the Resident Evil movies?
Look, we're not reappraising the Mila Resident Evil films as good, right? But it is funny that they've made a faithful Resi film since then that was even worse. Turns out you can't just stitch iconography together and coast by on that. I think this might be the first film where the screenwriter was being paid by the Fox. In this film, Lisa Trevor has a wrestling match with a liquor. Am I joking? Am I? I must be. That wouldn't be in the film. They wouldn't put that in the film. That's just a little joke. That's just a little joke between friends. Don't you worry about it. You just go back to sleep.
Dinosaurs.
Well, they still seem to be extinct. The trouble is, dinosaur news sort of exists on a different timescale, so it might be a few million years before the next big development. Of course, you still get headlines every week saying, "Oh, we just found a new dinosaur and it's one of the biggest ever." But bless them, we know that's just someone trying to pass off a really long rock as a bone so that they can get more funding. And good luck to them.
Lockdown.
Huzzah! Lockdown lifted and we were all free to do as we please again. In the years since, I have left my desk a handful of times and boy does it feel good to grab life by the horns again. The pub tricks I learned from Will McDonald got me barred from several pubs, but after I picked myself up off the cobblestones, the bouncers did concede I was a genius. They just weren't ready for me.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Since this review, there's been a PlayStation 5 port with additional DLC story. A mobile FF7 Battle Royale game has been and gone, and a gacha game with loot boxes and Glenn, and a new novel about Aerith and Tifa, and a couple of large books explaining Remake and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has released, as well as the first of several large books that explain
The Animal Crossing Incident.
It's been a while since I checked in on New Lemsp, and I expected it to be a lot more weedy, but everything is more or less the same, including Blanche being a right bitch. I'm a little worried about Flurry though. I just wanted to catch up, and right away they're like, imagine being attacked I mean, chill out, Jesus.
The constellations.
The stars are all in the same place, but the Dunhuang manuscript that was on display at the Harry Potter exhibit has been removed after someone calling themselves a proud Ravenclaw accidentally spilled an entire butterbeer over it. The museum sought legal repercussions, but a judge threw the case out, saying, "What do you expect? Every adult Harry Potter fan is thick as grey mince."
Star Trek Bridge Crew.
YouTube contacted me directly to say this is officially the best video on their platform. They've seen everything that gets uploaded and this is their favourite. So that's great. But the sad news is that hasn't convinced Ubisoft to make Bridge Crew 2, the only game announcement that would make me immediately buy any VR headset regardless of the asking price.
My couch cushion has stopped me from hitting the red alert button.
The Nazi films about Ireland.
I don't think the Nazis have made a film about Ireland lately, but maybe I need to take a closer look at the credits of Wild Mountain Thyme. What I do know is someone put half this video on TikTok without crediting me, and they got pretty good numbers for it too. You're welcome, dickhead.
Super Mario 3D World.
This video was where the world learned about Richie's cinema cat costume Macintosh, and subsequently Macintosh photos were unearthed.
I have tried and tried to find a photograph of that suit.
All I ask now is that everyone support the Infinite Review Patreon so someday I can afford to recreate the Macintosh costume and get Richie back in there.
What?
The future.
Now that we're living in the future, we can look back on this video and laugh at just how wrong I was. And that's fine. I'll eat my crow. My Martian crow.
Fatal Deviation.
Mutterings about a sequel flare up now and then, but it's hard to know how seriously to take them. I'd love if it happened, and I'd love even more to have a cameo in it. In fact, my storyline pitch would be Bennett returning to Ireland to destroy every copy of the film by breaking them over the heads of everyone who ever took the piss. I look forward to blubbering a personal apology through my tears and broken nose.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
I'm glad I made this before End of Evangelion was re-released in cinemas and proved certain people simply can't be trusted to last 85 minutes without shouting memes or running around like it's the Sunday morning screening of Paw Patrol. I think that video would have turned into something much more bitter had I already seen the frankly dogshit behaviour from those cretins. I promised I'd make a follow-up about the rebuild if this got 50,000 views, which was an intentionally pie-in-the-sky deal, but then it got a huge boost thanks to a shout out from John, Super Eye Patch Wolf to you, but John to me, unless he's disgraced, in which case I can't recall ever meeting him. So for a week or two, it was looking like I was actually going to have to make that video. But then the numbers ground to a halt again, which felt like everyone collectively saying that they didn't want it. And they shouldn't. I have about 100 pages of scattered thoughts on Rebuild, and none of them are worth hearing. I'm not being self-deprecating here. I'm telling you that the notes are worthless. If anything, this look back over my work has made it clear I am fucking brilliant.
Building a PC.
Well, the PC I built is still running, so I guess I'm a techno mage. If I can build a computer, I can probably build anything.
Rave Macbeth.
I talked about this film as if it were a real oddity, a unique mystery with no mainstream appeal. What a fool I was. In the interim, I rewatched Baz Luhrmann's very successful Romeo and Juliet, which is clearly what Rave Macbeth is aping. It all makes perfect sense. It also explains the existence of A Midsummer Night's Rave, which I will watch, even if the only version I can find is a crunchy little AVI. In fact, maybe that's the best way to see it.
The Bandai XR78 Gundam personal computer.
Now I know the reason you're watching this video is for an update on the Bandai RX-78 Gundam personal computer, but I'm sorry, there's surprisingly not that much to report. In fact, I'm almost certain it's still sitting in that shop. If you buy it, let me know so that I can go, oh, cool.
The Satellite games.
I have even less to say about the Satellite game. Nobody's even added my video to the Satellite Games Wikipedia page because it doesn't have a Wikipedia page. I don't think I'll ever find a topic people care less about than the Satellite game. But stick around because, by God, I'll try my very best to do just that.
Evangelion typing games.
The one thing from these games I failed to show you was what happens if you win the karaoke minigame as Rei, so it's time to set that right. You know, sometimes I look at Evangelion stuff and think, it's mad that this is really important to me.
Celebrity train layouts.
There haven't been any new celebrity train layouts despite the Michael Jordan rumors. And clearly Rod Stewart wants to keep his model railway all to himself. Gone are the days when celebrities loved to show off their homes, cars, model trains and Scarface posters. Now the only time we see past their front doors are if they're being raided.
Every Dreamcast fishing game.
The Dreamcast fishing controller is back, but not for landing bass. A very neat looking upcoming 3D platformer called Big Hops is compatible with it, and the Game Bike. I believe they're also working on Donkey Konga Bongo support. And I'm looking forward to giving it a try myself because the fishing attachment I got for the Switch only seems to work with this game designed for 6-year-old gambling addicts who will one day ruin someone else's screening of End of Evangelion.
Ireland's Wall of Death movie.
I'll wrap this one up by saying I hope it inspires someone to make something, just like how the original stuntmen who were inspired by Roustabout inspired others to make a film. Well, it happened. Someone made a documentary about my YouTube video. Very flattering, but no, I haven't watched it.
Guides to Gaming.
The only ninja news I have is he got to do a voice in a Hotel Transylvania short. I want to be in Hotel Transylvania. Listen, I want to be in Fatal Deviation 2, Valor's Kids 2, Hotel Transylvania 4, 5, 6? Do you want a voice in something? I'm really good at reading words. I can do. If you want a performance like this in something, if you can think of a place for, if you were making something and you wanted someone who talks like, who can deliver lines, just let me know.
Virtual Boy.
There's not much in the Infinite Review I have to apologize for, but I know this video hurt the feelings of fellow YouTuber Brian, who was kind enough to loan us the Virtual Boy from his wonderful collection, which he's very proud of. And he should be. Look at that. I'm sorry, Brian. If you ever want a loan of the first 5 seasons of Scrubs on Region 1 DVD, you need only ask.
Pirates Cove.
Since our first outing to Pirates Cove, we successfully launched MagFest East, which inevitably had some growing pains, but undoubtedly planted seeds that we have yet to see fully bloom. There's nothing I'm more confident about than MagFest East becoming a success. Start booking tables now. In fact, don't wait.
Every Dreamcast light gun game.
What broke my heart after uploading this was finding out about the Dreamcast port of the Lost World arcade game that got flushed along with everything else once Sega called it quits on the whole shebang. That would have been so damn good. Ugh, I can't even think about it. I did want to make a follow-up video about the twin stick controller too, but it's a lot to pay for a thing that works with only one game, and while my comedy writing skills are frankly phenomenal, I'm just not sure how much mileage there is here. But hey, I hate a challenge.
The complete storyline of Tekken. so far?
Of course, there's been a new Tekken since this, and oh, I should change that. But the big event was one of my videos doing quite well. Thank you all so much. I always assumed that if any of my videos did numbers, all that would happen is I'd get a load of people saying, "What the fuck is this garbage?" But everyone was nice. It just goes to show, if I stuck to topics people were interested in, I'd be a superstar. Anyway, stay tuned for my video ranking every flavour of Filippo Berio pesto.
E3!
And of course, finally, all the E3 videos. What a journey it's been, from lowly E3 watchers to humble E3 hosts to formidable E3 owners. It is funny seeing the desire for a new Rayman going as far back as 2018, which incidentally was when Gordon Joseph Levitt gave the world the last crumb of Beyond Good and Evil 2. Watching old E3 footage, it's clear the event is better off in our hands. I hope you'll all join me, Sean, Jeff, and Lauren, of course, next month for all the latest gaming news from an industry that just can't stop going from strength to strength. So, going back over old work is usually a mortifying experience, but I was amazed at how little pain this caused me. There's only one bit I hate. One! I was gonna wrap up by saying thank you for watching the Infinite Review, but honestly, thank you for having such great taste. And while I have you here, I should mention the Infinite Review podcast is now on Spotify, which is good because I know the Patreon player isn't ideal. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling now. I'll see you next month for This is E3 2024, and see you in 5 years for the Progress Report number 2.